Hello and welcome back to Marco Plays Pixel Tactics Online World 2. In the previous episode, we beat Kalistar Flarechild, who is an elemental and has awesome fire powers, but she was no match for my tactical planning. In this episode, we will be facing World 2-3 on easy, using a new deck. This new deck will be my Luca deck, or as I call it, the Luca Boy. Luca is a very powerful leader and has a very interesting ability, and I will get to showcase it to all of you today. So before we get into that, this is what the deck looks like. Of course, this new menu, it was recently implemented, so it looks way more awesome, and we have awesome music to accompany my soothing. I guess you could say it's soothing voice, depends on you. However, that aside, let's start this match. So this will be against a very interesting leader named Lucas. And Lucas is a new leader we just implemented as well, so we get to see even more new stuff in this video. If you guys saw me play Lucas, we've changed him a bit since last time. So yeah, we will have a more interesting game. So I mulliganed the Twin Blade because I don't need him right now. Twin Blades aren't that useful in my deck. Because I'm not searching for an OTK as fast as possible. Instead, I just want to make the game last as long as possible. Those Twin Blades really help out a lot with their order because it allows me to inspire spam. Because of Luca's ability, which is once per turn as an action, I may cast Phantom, which allows me to grab a card from my discard pile back into my hand. This essentially means that I can repeatedly play the same card every single turn. And that will be crazy insane later. But for now, we'll see. Lucas, the most fabulous man in Indians, has a really interesting ability too. So every time you play a order, trap, or ongoing effect, you randomly summon a copy of that unit in your squad. This is a very powerful ability. And you might think, hey, isn't that just a faster Luca ability? The big difference here, though, is that Lucas can't repeatedly spam the same order over and over again. He's forced to summon the other copy randomly on his field. And sometimes that's not always beneficial because you want the extra space for flexibility or for moving your corpses around. So it's not always as good as it seems. For my first turn, I will draw 2 and then summon the Fencer. So the Fencer's pretty good here because even if these 2 Scholars attack the Fencer will counter and kill both of them. So the Fencer's going to be the primo unit to summon. Alright, there's my Fencer. Here's where it gets interesting. Notice that all of these effects are 1 orb effects and they're removal. They allow me to deal damage to enemy heroes. Luca's ability to repeatedly cast the same effects over and over again can get utterly devastating if the opponent decides to flood the board. So we'll see if this AI is smart enough not to flood the board against me. So I guess he saw the Fencer and had his Scholars retreat to the back. Scholar's rear spell is pretty good because it gives the entire back column shield. That's pretty powerful. And the Occultist is, of course, the hero version of Lucas. So he's leaving himself pretty exposed. I don't really have to summon anything, so I'll probably draw a few cards. So the plan is to draw, summon something, and then draw. The question is, what do I summon? So in my hand, the least useful unit is the Legionnaire, so we summon him. And then we draw. So there is a hand limit, quote-unquote. When you already have 6 cards in your hand, you can't draw any more cards. But if you find other ways of putting cards in your hand, say with phantoms or spells and orders that allow you to draw, you can surpass the 6-card, quote-unquote, hand limit. So that's pretty interesting. Of course, there is still a maximum hand size, which I think is 15 cards. So be careful with that, but don't worry about it. You'll rarely reach 15 cards in this game. So that ends my turn. We'll see what Lucas. See, this is the problem. Lucas and Luca, it gets pretty confusing. So the back row is built up, dude. Like, Luca's going pretty gung-ho. So, what do we do? Do I have a powerful rear unit? Yes, I do. I have the Lancer. So the Lancer's pretty good in a Luca deck. because the Lancer allows me to finish off units that are damaged, which is why it's called finisher kill. And a lot of my orders deal damage. So for example, if I do 4 damage to this entire column, this will be left with 3 life, and then the Lancer can finish it off. There's a Pyromancer. So I can summon this second Pyromancer so that I have access to Fire 3 as a spell. A lot of my units in this Luca deck are all about controlling the board, not a lot of direct damage, per se. My game plan is to outlast the opponent, make sure they have no more resources and no more heroes left to summon. The thing is, I can really just willy-nilly give up, quote-unquote, the Pyromancer. Most other decks would choose to hold it, but in this deck, you can just summon the Pyromancer, because not only do I have an extra copy in my hand, I also can just repeatedly clone the Pyromancer by retrieving it using Phantom. So it's my turn, and he's left himself pretty exposed, which is a big misplay. Here's the thing in Pixel Tactics Online. You usually want to attack the leader when you can, because it's really hard to get damage in. So you usually want to attack whenever you can. And I will start the unfairness. So I will play the... Oh, sorry. My mistake. My plan was to attack, play this, and draw. So I should have drawn first. My mistake. I'm sorry. And there's a fighter. But that's effectively the same thing as playing my Ranger. So this is a very powerful effect. Ice 4 allows me to deal damage in a plus sign pattern, as you can see. And I will do it here. So that will deal 4 damage to all of these characters. None of the orders deal damage to leaders. Otherwise, I would just be the ultimate burn deck. So let's hope. Let's see. Oh, there he goes. There's the order. He'll bombard my Legionnaire, and he'll summon a copy of it. And now he has CAG. Okay. His field looks oddly like a plus shape pattern. It would be useful to have another Ranger, but I don't have any in my hand. Or do I? I activate my Luca ability, which allows me to get back my Ranger. Notice that the Ranger now only has 1 health compared to the 6, because this is a Phantom card. Phantom cards are essentially weaker versions of heroes, and they're usually best used as orders. And if you don't use them by the end of your turn, they go away. So I can't hold on to this until next turn. I have to use it now or lose it. So I'll use it. I'll target the Lucas leader, and this will deal ice in a plus shape pattern around him. So that will kill 2 of his units and leave 2 up. But next turn, I can still play the same thing and end up killing almost his entire board. My board's relatively fine. I want extra options, so I'll draw a card. Now, here's the problem with my strategy. The moment something else enters into my graveyard, this recall ability... Ooh. Uh-huh. And copy the Twin Blade. Okay. So that's the problem with my Luca ability. So I could just cast Ice again, and that would be pretty powerful, right? However, the moment something else enters my graveyard, what I get from the ability is completely random. So I can use Ice to kill this. I can kill these 2 with Ice. And then what? Fire this. So I guess my plan is to Phantom, use Ice to kill these 2, and then fire this. I'm looking for a way if I can clear the entire board with just 3 actions, but there doesn't seem to be a way to do so. Yeah, I don't see a way, so I'll just Ice. So in the early game, this is pretty good, since I'm pretty much guaranteed to always get the Ice back. And this should kill those 2 units. And now notice that I have way more cards in my hand, and my opponent's slowly running out of cards. So we can fire. Well, I guess that was pretty much the same thing as just executing this. But anyway. So that's what Luca's ability is all about. Okay. It effectively gives me a lot of hand and card advantage. So he's clearing some corpses. He's obviously scared. I can attack his leader. And once again, recall. So this strategy is something that's really hard to... How do you say it? Really hard to beat if you don't know how to play around it. You have to be able to adapt your deck and strategy really well to beat Luca. But notice that I don't really have a lot of defenses on my side. And my discard is populated by just that one ranger. The moment... Oh, Meteor 6. So now he gets the madness in another scholar. So that positioning ended up being really good for him. So my play is to move this so that Luca can attack, because I don't plan on recursing anything. And I will Phantom. So he can Phantom using that card. Do I want to deny him the ability to Phantom with that card? Nah. So that means I should summon something. Most likely the fighter here. So why would I want to summon this if I won't be able to use it pretty much soon anyway? Because in the rear, I can just put him in Vanguard. And that's pretty good because next turn is the switch and I'm able to attack his face multiple times. The plan is hopefully he doesn't have anything here. Otherwise, I'll just kill it with this Pyromancer. Alright, so he has nothing there. I have nothing to kill. So I simply have to move this unit here. If the internet will cooperate. Thank you. Again, it's still in closed pre-alpha, so some things may be a bit sketchy. And there we go. So now, when it switches over to my turn, he has no defender and I have 3 attackers. What else can I do? So this is the power of Fencer. Fencer allows me to cast an order that buffs one of my characters for 3 attack. However, unlike many effects that buff attack, Fencer's is permanent. So now this has 6 attack permanently. So even if I end the turn, it will still have 6 attack. So I will now grossly overkill Lucas. Just watch. This is 3 damage. Ouch. This is 4 damage. Come on, do the 4 damage.
I want you to do the 4 damage, fighter.
Fighter, I said do the... Yes, excellent. Now he's already dead, but let's make him even more dead. So Lancer only has 6 attack. Lancer also has Finisher 3. Finisher 3 allows me to deal bonus damage to damaged enemies. And since he's damaged, pretty heavily damaged, if I may add, I can deal an extra 9 damage. Boom. That's painful. See, that wasn't lag. That was my Lancer taunting Lucas. So now, even if the opponent has a Nurse, which is a card that allows you to heal your leader for 5, he shouldn't be able to survive. So again, in Pixel Tactics Online, characters don't die until the end of the wave. So if my opponent has some way to heal, he can potentially bring his leader, quote-unquote, back from the dead. So it's often a very good strategy to heavily overkill the enemy leader as much as possible. So let's end the turn and see what the computer responds with. Hopefully it's nothing. That's my ultimate goal in almost every game, that the enemy can't do anything about it. Okay, this is taking longer than I expected. Come on, computer, die. Oh, so the internet didn't lag. I just didn't click. And that was my victory. I'm sorry. I was like, why is this lagging so much? And then I was like, oh, I didn't click. So now I've unlocked stage 2-3 hard, stage 2-3 challenge, and stage 2-4 easy, and of course I unlocked the occultist. So that was a very interesting game, and I was able to display some awesomeness that is my Luca Boy deck. Please put in the comment section down below if you want me to use other deck archetypes. I have a lot of decks that aren't in my deck list because they're in my head. So if you guys want me to use a specific leader or a specific character, please tell me in the comment section down below. And in the next episode, we will be going to World 2-4. But that pretty much does it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget your leader abilities. Good night.